Hey then everyone, Juan here from SwitchWatch, our top 10 Nintendo Switch bargains on the Nintendo eShop that I have found for you. And some of these are at their lowest price that they have ever been, so stick with us to find out which games they are. Now of course I find you the best discounts on the Nintendo eShop, but if you want an extra 10% off, head on over to our website www.switchwatch.net where you can buy an eShop card in your region, whether that's £15 or $15. If you enter the code SwitchWatch10 at the basket, then you'll get an extra 10% off that eShop voucher or game that you buy from our website. So it's free money. So make sure you head on over there to get even more discount on these games. Let's get on with it now and head into our first bargain, which is Dragon's Dogma Dark Horizon, a fantastic game on the Nintendo Switch. This one here for our friends in the UK and in Europe at the moment, and has 67% off. This surprised everyone when it came out as one of the top modern RPGs from Capcom, no less a developer. We don't typically associate with RPGs, but there are some similarities here with their Monster Hunter series. It features gigantic enemies, including, you guessed it, dragons, huge open world, but then there are deep systems here such as crafting, a large world full of characters to interact with, and its pawn system and excellent action-orientated combat set it apart. This is not one to miss. Next up, we have Panzer Dragoon, which has its lowest price ever. Yes, that's right, its lowest price ever with 90% off, and it's taking a trip down memory lane all the way back actually to 1995. When the original Sega Saturn dragon riding shoot 'em up first came out. Fast forward and this arcade style classic has been remade with 3D graphics, reimagined stages, and the option of a new control scheme. It's really good to see the little details from the original that are recreated, and the gaps are filled in with new horsepower. As an arcade style game, it's not actually very long, but if you play it like imagined without lots of lives, it will take you a while to conquer. I really enjoyed this, and you know, for the price of a coffee, it's an absolute no-brainer, one that you have to get for your collection, no doubt about it. Next up, we have Ashen. Ashen's a wonderful Dark Souls-inspired title that evokes the same feeling you get when you first booted up Dark Souls, but this has its own style and story. The graphics are superb, combining simplicity and detail in a brilliant way. Soundtrack is spot on as well, with gloomy, expanding tracks. Unlike most similar games, there is a sense of partnerships and community. You'll be accompanied by a companion who is very useful. The lore, lands and style are all great, but combat is where this game shines. The AI is excellent and the controls are sharp. You cannot go wrong picking this one up, especially as it's at its lowest price it's ever been on the Nintendo eShop. So if you want it at its cheapest price, then make sure you buy this and get an extra 10% off by visiting our website www.switchwatch.net and using code SwitchWatch10. In my review, I described Yukus Island Express as a pinballvania. It's a fantastic game and honestly doesn't get enough credit. For this price, 75% off, I implore you to buy this even if you're not thinking it's going to be great. Check out my review for more details. I'll put it in the top hand corner of this video. But it's a breath of fresh air. Comes along from time to time, a game like this, and if you're unfamiliar with Yukus Express, it plays as a Metroidvania pinball game set in a beautiful fantasy world. Sounds odd, but it plays great. Exploration is the key, and though it looks cute and certainly can be enjoyed with children, don't be fooled into thinking it's a really easy game. It does have some bite too. Don't skip this at its current price. Now, we've all played Worms at some point in our past, haven't we? I played it on the Amiga 500, still love it to this day. Back in the 90s, I loved the original Worms from Team 17, the mischievous mayhem that sets your troops against your opponents in turn-based randomized terrain battles that led to some great carnage. Over the years, the series has had some further hits, but also some misses, and to my delight, Worms WMD takes the series right back to its core. Silly and awesome weapons, 2D maps, and devilish voiceovers. The campaign is decent, but playing this with friends is where the true joy is. James reviewed this one on the channel. I'll put a link in the top right-hand corner so you can view it if you want some more detail here. Children of Mortar, we have featured many times, a game that I reviewed on the channel. I'll put a link up above if you want more detail. Usually has about 50 to 60% off, but this time 70% off, one of its lowest prices ever. Now, your job is to protect Mortar. You have a whole family to do it with, all of which have varying different play styles in the person that you choose to play. It's an awesome roguelike dungeon crawler. The story is told by a narrator who will instantly draw you in. The visuals and epic soundtrack are the icing on the cake here in this extremely compelling and playable title. In fact, it made our way into the top indie games available on our Xbox Game Pass list over at our other channel, Games Expanse. Now, this game is one of my favorite indies, so if you do have a chance to buy it, you're going to enjoy this one a lot for sure. Gonogowa is certainly a different game. It's a critically acclaimed puzzle game from developers Buried Signal. It's beautiful, imaginative, and often cited as a work of art. It was originally quite a lot of money, to be fair, but it's come down to a much more palatable price. For many, due to the 2-hour runtime, it was rather expensive, but with 71% off, it now represents good value for money. If you were on the fence originally, and you like puzzle games, then this one will certainly satisfy that itch. So the legacy certainly continues here with Spelunky II, a bloody difficult game. If you play the first one, you know what to expect. In the second, has 40% off for the UK and Europe at the moment, one of its cheaper prices that it's ever been. There's loads of secrets to find in this platformer. I kept on dying. I nearly threw my Nintendo Switch out of the window a number of times, but I managed to just keep my temper in check. If you're one of those people that has a bad temper, this game might not be for you, but those of you who are patient, persistent, and can overcome difficult challenges, then you're going to have a lot of fun here. I certainly enjoyed it. One that if you want a platformer, then this is going to be the one to choose. Which brings me on to Monster Sanctuary. Monster Sanctuary is a monster collecting RPG with inspiration from Pokemon in a Metroidvania world where your monsters have different skills that let you progress through that world. I mean, what more could you bloody want? It's fantastic. I think that this is probably one of my favorite Nintendo Switch indies, along with Children of Mortar, actually. I mean, I've got a lot of favorites, to be fair, but this one is fantastic. It's an accomplished game I had the pleasure of discovering actually on my Xbox or Game Pass. The 3v3 battle system, complete with elemental tactics, the skill system is a real treat, and if you like the good old RPG games, then give this one a go. You will not regret it, certainly at its current price. Last but not least, we have Lonely Mountains Downhill, which has a nice 50% off for all regions. Crash Bang Wallop is usually what happens on your first few goes in this game. It's a biking adventure and it's very easy to pick up but difficult to master as you fly down the various trails on each mountain from forest to canyons. There's also a whole host of shortcuts and branching paths that you can take, but often they'll require more precise handling to pull off. I reviewed this. I'll put the link in the top right hand corner. If you want more money off, then visit www.switchwatch.net where you can get 10% off using the code SwitchWatch10. I want to thank all of our members that continue to support us, all of our subscribers. If you haven't subscribed yet, then hit that subscribe button and bell notification so we can alert you to all of those wonderful bargains each week. Thank you. If you're still watching, you're an absolute legend. I'll see you again on the next one.